Hi, how you doing? I'm Chief Dean Rondeau with the Wolfeboro Police Department, and to my left is my trusty executive officer, Captain Mark Libby. And welcome back to another segment of Coffee and Connections with the Chief. We're so glad you could join us today. And so we're into the month of January, and I hope everybody had a happy holiday season and a joyous New Year. We got lots of things on tap for the Wolfeboro Police Department this year. So let me just get right into it. We have completed most of our budgetary submissions to the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee. Our budget is up this year, but not by a lot, a very, very modest amount of money. So that's good. We were able to use revenue streams from outside sources and various government grants to offset the cost of some needed equipment, as well as the hiring of a 14th officer. So please support that budget. It's a well thought out, well prepared budget. We took a lot of time and angst and energy to get that budget through the various wickets that it had to go through in order to be approved by our fathers and mothers there within the town committees. So we're very grateful to them, obviously, for their community support and their activism and in their intent to try and keep the budget as low as possible. With that, we should be hopefully receiving one new patrol cruiser this year, completely upfitted. So this is continuing a second year of our pivot on technology, where we're updating and modernizing all of our equipment to include the MDT systems, the e-ticket systems, and the e-crash systems, which will provide our officers the capability to send data directly to the state, to the courts, to DMV headquarters, right from the field, eliminating a need for the officers to come back and forth to the department to complete reports. So it just makes them more efficient on the road, returns a better product to the consumer, and it keeps my officers out on the road doing what they need to be doing, which is proactive policing, which is what we're really all about. Proactive policing, community policing is really the key to victory in 2019 and beyond, so we're very grateful for that. We have begun our 2019 operational grants. Those began back in October, so they're in full swing right now, and those will continue through about 15 September 2019 when we'll close those grants down and we'll start up the new ones the following year. I'm going to turn that over to the captain here in a moment to talk about. So we're really excited about some of the things coming down. Of course, some important dates to remember will be the 2 February deliberative session at the, no, these are future dates coming up. It'll be 2 February deliberative session at the school. Isn't that right, Tim? For the school district. 2 February, isn't it? Yeah, it is 2 February, and then the town is the 5th. Thank you, Tim. That was Tim. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So 5 February for the town's deliberative session, and then the town vote is Tim. When is the town vote? March 12th. That's right. How could I forget? March 12th. Thank you, Captain. March 12th is the town vote. So again, please come out and support the police department budget, and that'll be good. And you should come out and take a look at both the school districts and the town's deliberative session, so you can be a well-informed voter. So I encourage you to come out and ask questions about the process and various warrant articles. Having said that, I'm going to turn it over to the captain now for his operational update. Captain?
Yeah, just one other thing with the budgets is the union contract for the police. We're not part of the union. But the police officers, they did get putting forward a 4-year contract that will be voted on at the March 12th date. For you guys, you'll see it all laid out. I think it's Article 21 or in that ballpark. But getting back to the operational part, so we got the grants from the state that they're out. You've seen some of the officers working, some of the DWIs, the speed details, they call them STEP, but they're out there. They'll be out there in January, February, March, and then really pushing once we get into the summer months, getting the speed, the DWIs on the weekends and here and there during the week. So be careful of that. They're out there. They're really going to be looking out for operators using cell phones. Can't say that enough. I think I say it every month. People are still using them though. So unfortunately, keep an eye on that. Please don't use it. Just wait before you answer the phone. Put the phone down. Put it on speakerphone if you can. You can do that while you operate the vehicle. Next thing we have, we just had a promotion effective January 1st to sergeant is our K-9 officer, Michael Strock. So he's been promoted to sergeant. So eventually we'll get him back here in his new position to talk about it and his new role and duties and challenges ahead of him. In dispatch, well, before we get over there, so with the police department, we're still looking for part-time officers to fill some vacancies in there. I think we have one or two vacancies in that spot. With dispatch, we're full staff with the full-timers, but we're still looking for, I think we have one vacancy in the part-time. If anyone's interested in that, or do you know somebody that's interested in that, would like to come over into part-time and work with us, that would be great. Anything else that's coming up there? What he was talking about is community policing. We've been working with the school systems on lockdowns. I know your kids have gone back home with you and talked about the lockdown procedures that they've been doing. The Wolfeboro Police Department has been there. I've been there for all of them. With the high school, middle school, Crescent Lake, we're going to be doing Carpenter School, working with them on some procedures over there too. So, and with Brewster Academy, we also keep an eye on them and work with them as they get some new administrations, new positions in there, personnel that we're going to be working with them closely. Same thing with the Children's Center. We work with them very closely on different procedures and policies and help them along. It's a nice working relationship that we have with certain businesses in town. Other than that, operation's going very well. It's moving along. It's cold, and I'll give it back to the chief.
Thanks. Yeah, and one thing I just want to mention about the budget, as Selectman Paul O'Brien likes to say, Chief, did you land the aircraft on the runway? And relative to the budget, and I'm happy to say that yes, we did this year. We returned a little bit of surplus back to the town, which is good. That will come off next year's tax base. But yes, we landed the aircraft right where we needed to on the runway on all three budgets: the police budget, dispatch budget, and animal control. So that was good. And so yeah, we had although we had a challenging budget year last year, we came in under budget, which is exactly where we want to be. So having said that, I do want to congratulate Officer Strock for a strong performance on the promotional process. He is being promoted to sergeant, and that's very good. So we'll get him on this show along with K-9 Riggs, and so you can get to see and greet K-9 Riggs. And if any of you folks want to be on TV at that point in time, let us know. Let Tim know down at Wolfeboro Community TV, and we can get you sitting right next to K-9 Riggs during the live segment of this broadcast. So again, we're really happy for Officer Strock, but I do want to just put a plug in for the other officers that went out for we had 6 officers that competed for that promotional process. Every single one of them did extremely well. They did extremely well. I'm very proud of my young officers for having gone through that process. It's arduous. There's a written process and there's 2 oral boards to it. So the written exam is quite lengthy, and it's not a multiple guess type exam. It's all essay questions. We're really testing the knowledge about everything from town ordinances to constitutional law to search and seizure and to scenarios where we're giving them very detailed, complex scenarios and asking them to develop their best approaches to handling those scenarios. Then there's 2 police oral boards. One is made up of present and past police leaders, usually at the rank of lieutenant and above. And then the final interview before the Wolfeboro Police Commission before a final selection is made. So very arduous process. I'm very happy and pleased that we had a large number of officers turn out for that promotional process and exam. And it just makes those types of processes, and the captain would agree with this, just make a good police officer better. Because it really puts them through the test. It puts them to the limits, and which is what we want. So we only want to choose the best for promotion. So we're really happy that process went off well. So having said that, I want to thank you all for tuning in to Coffee and Connections with the Chief, and as always, be my guest. here at Coffee and Connections. Bring your friends down, or if you want me to speak in front of a group, all you have to do is contact myself or the captain or Tim at Wolfeboro Community TV. Let us know when and where. We'll be happy to come down. And again, we can talk about anything you want. We can talk about the Patriots. We can talk about the Boston Red Sox. We can talk about constitutional law. We could talk about anything. So just give us a call, and we'll be happy to come down and speak to you and your group. Or if you want to be my guest at Coffee and Connections, call Tim and come on down. And as always, coffee's on me. So thank you very much for tuning in. This is Chief Dean Rondeau with Captain Mark Livy, and have a great January. Thank you, folks. So the important dates that you want to keep in mind is 3 January 2019, 3 January 2019 at the Great Hall at 7 p.m., 1900 for all you military folks out there, for the presentation of the Budget Committee to the town on their presentation of the budget. And then 2 February for the deliberative session for the school. That's a Saturday, and that'll be at the Arts Center. And then 5 February at the Great Hall, starting at 7 p.m. for the town's deliberative session. So those are the important dates to keep in mind. If we can be of further assistance, don't hesitate to give the Wolfeboro Police Department a phone call. Thank you so much. Hi, so this is Chief Dean Rondeau with the Wolfeboro Police Department, and welcome back to Coffee and Connections with the Chief and your safety tip of the month. So we're getting into now what I call the deep winter, the deep winter, January, February time frame. So invariably we're going to go through some temperature fluctuations, and we all like to get out on the ice and do our cross-country skiing and our snowmobiling and snowshoeing and ice fishing and so forth. Just be mindful that the ice will experience the same types of temperature fluctuations that the rest of us on dry land are experiencing. So what does that really mean for you? That means that the ice gets thick and thin and thick and thin, and you have pressure ridges and pressure vaults that open up, and it's easy to go through the ice. So you have to be very careful when you're out on the ice. Please check with New Hampshire Fish and Game for the current conditions on Lake Winnipesaukee relative to where you are. If you're here in Wolfeboro, you can always give us a call. We'll be happy to check for you, or we probably have that information posted on our website. In the meantime, if you're unsure of the ice thickness, or if you see open water, stay away or stay off the ice. Don't go on it. You don't want to take a chance of putting your snowmobile or an automobile or even yourself into that icy, frigid cold water. It will not be a pleasant experience. So again, check the ice thickness, check with Fish and Game, and more importantly, let others know where you're going and how long you're going to be gone. So if you don't come back in a reasonable amount of time, well, they can contact local law enforcement, and we can start doing a check just to make sure something didn't happen. So again, this is Chief Dean Rondeau with the Wolfeboro Police Department with your safety tip of the month, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.